We expected the U.S. to bring constructive measures to build confidence in accordance with the spirit of the U.S.-North Korea summit. However, the attitude of the U.S. in the first high-level talks held on the 6th and 7th were indeed regrettable.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo just wrapped up talks with North Korea. He was there for 2 days, but never met with leader Kim Jong Un. Pompeo said discussions about denuclearization went well, but some North Korean officials had a very different point of view. Paula Reed reports.
We had productive, good faith negotiations.
As Secretary of State Mike Pompeo departed Pyongyang after 2 days of high-level talks, he seemed optimistic about delivering on the promises made in Singapore last month.
We talked about what the North Koreans are continuing to do and how it's the case we can get our arms around achieving what Chairman Kim and President Trump both agreed to, which was the complete denuclearization of North Korea.
But when pressed specifically on how North Korea will denuclearize, Pompeo declined to answer.
I'm not going to get into the details of our conversations.
North Korea had a completely different interpretation of events. An unnamed foreign ministry spokesman lashed out at the U.S. and called the meetings regrettable in a statement carried by the Korean Central News Agency. The U.S. just came out with such unilateral and robber-like denuclearization demands that go against the spirit of the North U.S. summit meeting. During the June summit in Singapore, the president was confident that North Korea would begin denuclearization right away.
We signed a very, very comprehensive document, and I believe he's going to live up to that document. In fact, when he lands, which is going to be shortly, I think that he will start that process right away.
The president has not yet responded to these comments from North Korea. He's spending the weekend here in New Jersey at one of his golf clubs, but we've only heard from him on social media. He's tweeted about fake news and his upcoming Supreme Court announcement.
Pompeo left North Korea today without any hard indication that North Korea is making serious, verifiable efforts towards denuclearization.
North Korea is calling Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, his meetings in North Korea regrettable. The secretary met with Kim Jong Un's top advisor, Kim Jong-chol, and according to Pompeo, they made, and this is a quote, progress on almost all of the central issues. But that's apparently not how Pyongyang sees it.
We want to do something. We both are going to do something, and we have developed a very special bond. So people are going to be very impressed. People are going to be very happy, and we're going to take care of a very big and very dangerous problem for the world. And I want to thank Chairman Kim. Spent a lot of time together today, very intensive time. And I would actually say that it worked out for both of us far better than anybody could have expected. I think far better. I watched the various news reports. I would say far better than anybody even predicted. And this is going to lead to more and more and more. And it's an honor to be with you.
Now, it's important to note that North Korea has the capability and has proven it has the capability to strike the United States with a nuclear warhead or a missile that would cause some serious destruction.
The Trump administration is trying to focus on supposed progress in the North Korea nuclear situation. But let's get a refresher on just what North Korea has in its arsenal. Analysis by the Defense Intelligence Agency puts the number of nuclear weapons held by North Korea in the neighborhood of 60 bombs. But the biggest point is that we don't actually know the full extent of Kim Jong Un's nuclear stockpile, and there were no public disclosures of that number at the Singapore summit last month. You'd think that'd be a good starting point for negotiations. Let's find out what their capabilities actually are. We didn't do that. The bombs are a serious threat when coupled with North Korea's advances in rocket technology. The latest missile is now believed to put all of the U.S. mainland within range. Now, that's nuclear stuff. In terms of conventional military, North Korea is huge. North Korea has more than 1,000 aircraft, about 1,600 aircraft, fixed and rotary wing, hundreds of naval vessels, thousands of tanks, armored vehicles, thousands of rocket launchers. And according to U.S. and South Korean intelligence, this stuff is all there. It's also hidden. There's hidden artillery positioned along the demilitarized zone, pointed directly at South Korea's capital, Seoul, which is only about 35 miles away.
What you're seeing here on the part of North Korea is posturing because they want to keep nuclear weapons. So, because it's a big bargaining chip to be brought into any negotiation or to be brought into talks on the world stage. Now, I think if Trump amps up his rhetoric and Bolton continues talks with North Korea and Pompeo continues to do this, and if we see some of our allies backing us in here, we will likely see North Korea back down. But there's no indication at this point right now that they are willing to do so. No. Like I said, because having nuclear weapons is such a bargaining chip on the world stage, and it's something that they are fighting, as you saw with their comments after Pompeo left today, calling the talks regrettable.
They released this statement. We expected the U.S. to bring constructive measures to build confidence in accordance with the spirit of the U.S.-North Korea summit. However, the attitude of the U.S. in the first high-level talks held on the 6th and 7th were indeed regrettable.
So certainly only going to anger the president, you would think, right?
Yeah, and I think we're waiting for the president's tweet or his remarks sometime today on what he thinks about it. As far as I'm concerned, and the people that I know within the administration, I'm sure the president is pretty fired up about this and wants to not be played on the world stage.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, there might be a reaction from the region too, right? I mean, you know, we're all wondering what the president's going to do next, or if North Korea says something. I mean, what about China? What about other countries in the region? Is there a move there?
Well, so, you know, we've seen a denuclearization push work on the part of the United States with China and with Russia in the past. As far as China, you know, the Chinese interest here are concerned, I think they're probably going to sit and let this play out and see when, you know, the best moment is for them to actually address the issue. But as far as it stands, I think we're going to have to wait and see what the president's remarks are towards the North Korean official's statement today. And if any indication that I have, I'm assuming he's going to come down pretty hard.
Yeah, probably. Before we let you go, Robert, let's at least take up what you said was option 2 in all of this, which would be to put military pressure or even take military action against the North Koreans. Percentage-wise, do you think the odds have greatly increased of that with the comments here over the last 24 to 48 hours?
I think that's a possibility. I think the other thing, though, you have to think about is the retaliation on the part of North Korea in South Korea and Seoul, which has millions and millions of citizens. Right. You hear all the time that, you know, one of the reasons that this couldn't happen before Trump actually made the historic summit work was that, you know, any push or really, you know, hard, heavy-handed efforts on the part of the United States or anywhere else could cause retaliation from North Korea and have them attack Seoul. So I think there's a lot to worry about in the region, and as you brought up with China, but as it stands right now, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we will. Tense times are back. Maybe they hadn't gone away.
Let me ask you, right after the oath of office, they give you the nuclear codes, the biscuit. Sobering moment?
When they explain what it represents and the kind of destruction that you're talking about, it is a very sobering moment. Yes, it's very, very, very scary in a sense.
Does it keep you up at night?
No, but I have confidence that I'll do the right thing and the right job. But it's a very, very scary thing.
A bomb equivalent to 20 million tons of TNT would cause an intense fire called a firestorm in an area of about 2,000 square miles.
We have spent more than $2 billion on the greatest scientific gamble in history, and we have won.
Hey, did you see that city where the first atomic bomb was dropped? Yes, Fred. We flew over Hiroshima for about half an hour. It was a shambles, Sam. A shambles? It looked like Ebbets Field after a doubleheader with the Giants.